What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this recent physique update from Goodvito, now officially under 4 weeks out from his first ever Mr. Olympia. So he's that one guy who is most probably gonna place the highest out of all the guys who are making their Olympia debuts this year, apart from maybe Behrouz Tabani, if Behrouz Tabani gets here. So Goodvito is a real-life cartoon character with the kind of proportions that he has. Look at those quads, easily some of the best in the entire men's open lineup. The hamstrings and the glutes, they're also some of the best, even among that top 5. And everybody saw how he wasn't at his 100% at this year's Arnold Brazil, the show that he won to secure his Olympia spot, because him and his team, they just knew that he was gonna win that show anyway. So Goodvito has the ability to come in very shredded and ripped to the bone. His consistency after turning pro, that speaks for itself. And most importantly, he's one of those young guys who take up a lot of space on the stage, and that is something we all know is extremely important, especially at a big show like the Olympia and the Arnold. You have to stand out. So all these guys better not sleep on Goodvito. And how high can he place at this upcoming Mr. Olympia? That will all come down to how much improved his side shots are gonna appear compared to what we saw at the Arnold Brazil, and also his one back shot, the back double biceps, how much more denser he can be in that shot. So he was missing a lot of thickness in the arms and the shoulders region, and that is something he has to fix if he wants to be in that top 6 even down the line. Because we are gonna see plenty of guys in that Olympia top 10 who have a lot better side shots than Goodvito. And it's kind of very hard to predict how high Goodvito can place. But just to remind you guys, it was just 1 year back at last year's Detroit Pro, where him and Martin Fitzwater, they were so close, especially at the prejudging of that show. And then afterwards Goodvito had a full-blown off-season. So I am very certain that we're gonna see the best of Goodvito in less than 4 weeks time from now. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. I guess Ramondino was unable to find a gym, so he had to do those pull-ups in the moving train. So Ramondino, along with his coach and his trainer, they were spotted getting some critique from the head judge Steve Weinberger a little under 4 weeks out. So do you guys remember when was the last time Ramon was taking the posing aspect of pro bodybuilding that religiously? So he has never been among the best classic physique poser, not by a mile. In fact, he's probably one of the worst. In that first Olympia call-out, he also tried to change his posing last year, but not in a positive way. So this year we have been watching Ramon putting in a lot of work when it comes to the posing and presentation all throughout this year. And now he was taking some pointers from the head judge Steve Weinberger himself. So I believe this is gonna be the year where Ramondino is gonna stick to presenting his strong points, and he's gonna make sure that he presents his physique in the best possible way. Because we have to keep in mind, no matter what anyone says, Ramon is a legit contender for this year's Olympia title. He's a real threat. The only valid concern that we have in regards to Ramon is that how much more muscle he's gonna lose in order to make the weight cutoff. Because we saw how he was looking the biggest and the leanest somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks out from this year's Mr. Olympia. And that is also gonna decide his placing at the Olympia this year, which is probably the most important Olympia of his entire pro career so far. Because this time it's something which is also gonna determine whether Ramon sticks to classic physique or does he follow Urs Glaszinski and make the switch to the men's open bodybuilding. So hopefully this year, Ramondino will bring a condition and a package similar to what we saw back in 2023. That, in my opinion, was the best look of his entire career. So the 2 times Arnold champion, the conqueror William Bonac checks in, less than 4 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia. So William Bonac also holds a very unique record. Out of all the guys who are gonna be doing this year's Mr. Olympia, he's second in the list of those guys who have done the most number of Mr. Olympias in this lineup. And of course, Brendan Carey is on the top. So that, along with Bonac's record of bringing a top-notch conditioning, his consistency of peaking 100% right, that makes him one of the best athletes in the men's open class in the last decade or so. And that is why he's gonna be very dangerous at the Olympia this year too. So his career could have been over back in 2023 when he had a couple of bad placings, first at the Olympia and then at the Arnold. But most importantly, his quads, they started to take a beating and he was unable to hold on to that size. So he took 1 year off. And somehow, not only was he able to hold on to all that size, but he was somehow able to build on that. So the look that he presented at this year's Detroit Pro, that was arguably better than his Olympia 2019 version, where he got his highest Olympia placing, second behind Brendan Carey and beating Hadi Chopin at that show. So William Bonac is still going very strong. He was top 7 at the Olympia last year. Now I know his arms aren't the same anymore. He has a wider waistline, and that makes him quite vulnerable in those quarter turns and the first couple of shots. But even then, the quality and the density and the muscle maturity, that is so undeniable. So there is no possible scenario in which Bonac doesn't place in that second call out. So he's about to turn 43, and that's very impressive for that kind of age. So Bonac is gonna try to keep on denying all these young guys top placings at the Olympia this year too, and for as long as his body allows him. Because at this point, there are zero plans for him to consider retirement. So the more you look at Tonio Burton's physique, the more you realize that the tools that this guy have, along with that crazy conditioning that he brings every single time he steps on stage, he's going to be a very dangerous bodybuilder in that top 6 to top 9 range at the Olympia this year. So a lot of us had him beating William Bonac at this year's Dubai Pro, and some even had him beating Behrouz Tabani. Now we have to keep in mind, Bonac was top 7 last year, and with that quad sweep that Tonio Burton has, along with that width that makes some of his shots, like the front lat spread, a very deadly shot, and also his front relaxed, that is an awesome shot. Now we do not need to tell him that all he needs to do is put on some more size and some more density in the chest area and possibly bring up his side shots, because he himself also knows that. Because those are the two shots on which, if he improves, that is going to make him a much more dangerous and a much more complete bodybuilder. Because the fact is, he's the most vulnerable in those side shots, and he's gonna lose them to a lot of guys in that Olympia top 10. So that's pretty much it. His back is also very complete, so that part is covered already. So if we go back in time and look at Dexter Jackson from 1999 or 2000s, nobody would have believed that Dexter will go on to become the most winning IFBB pro in the entire bodybuilding history, a multiple times Arnold champion and also an Olympia champion. And Tonio is the closest we have seen a physique reminiscent of Dexter Jackson. Now Tonio, in his own mind, he's looking at top 6, but whom does he knock out in order to place that high come Olympia this year? So only time will tell how Jeremy Buendia is gonna look like next to some of these top Olympians in the men's physique division this year. So we do not have to wait another 4 weeks to see his final stage look, as the 4 times men's physique champion has just announced that he's competing this weekend. So the top guys out there, they keep on mentioning that he isn't a factor in that Olympia top 5, but you have got to give him the credit. He's actually looking very impressive, and for his last bodybuilding competition, he isn't leaving anything on the table, no stones left unturned. And the most impressive aspect of his physique this year, which is something that he always struggled with, is the way his abs are looking this time. So with a guy like Ryan Terry as the reigning Olympia champion, who has an amazing set of abs, Ali Bilal, who also has an amazing midsection, so Jeremy was told to focus on bringing a very deep and very well developed abs. So things have changed a lot in the industry in the recent past. But if you have been following pro bodybuilding from the years 2015 onwards, Jeremy was one of the most influential guy in the entire fitness industry for all those years. And it is kind of too bad that he decided to step away very early and when he was very young. And that is why the biggest contenders at the Olympia this year, they do not consider him a threat. Because the division has evolved so much over those 5 years when he was gone. So if Jeremy is able to finish in that top 5 at the Olympia this year, that will be a very big win for him, considering the depth of the Olympia lineup this year in the men's physique. So how high do you guys think Jeremy can do at the Olympia this year? Can he beat his 2017 Olympia look? And if he does that, does he have a chance at this year's Olympia title? So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.